How you doing, Dewan? My name is Ethan.
I'm doing all right.
Obviously, I know you've been coming in, but for some reason, I haven't been seeing you lately. What's going on?
Um, Kind of hard to talk about, but I think throughout the session, I might be able to, easier and stuff.
Okay.
Just recently, probably a couple of weeks ago,
Mhm.
kind of started. Me and my girlfriend started going through little hiccups. Start with
Oh.
little fights, little bickerments, and it started to cascade over.
Mhm.
Kind of ended with us taking a break. Just don't know where we stand. Just kind of feel like the trust is gone a little bit just because some stuff I found out,
Mhm.
not really communicating like we were.
Mhm.
Like I said, the little arguments. So it's kind of just making me question like the trust I have with other people.
Okay.
If this person's so close to me, can have like, have this feeling of not being able to trust in my inner circle. I kind of feel like, it's kind of like a code red. Like everybody in my circle is like untrustworthy. I know I shouldn't feel like that, but
Mhm.
it's making me kind of feel like I need to be to myself and have those feelings to myself. So
Mhm.
it's kind of where I'm at, just kind of relationship, not really where I want to be
Mhm.
with trust and stuff like that. I don't know if it's it's just hard to say right now because
Okay.
feeling like we're broken up to a point, and I try to have a relationship with my grandparent, keep that going, but I kind of feel like what if she's holding out information on me? It's stuff
Mhm.
that's just so little that I know I shouldn't feel, but I do.
Right.
So I'm kind of stuck.
So right now, you feel like your emotions all over the place,
Yeah, for sure.
and like you said, there's some things going on with your girlfriend. Do you mind me asking what the situation was that
Yeah,
caused?
yeah. I'll break it down to you. It's kind of a long story. You got time?
I
I'm
do.
not trying.
I do. You don't have to rush. And I want you to know, too, I'm going to also be taking notes just to
Okay.
pinpoint some things, just to help us work through these problems that we're having.
Okay.
Would you also like some water, or are you
No,
fine?
it's okay.
Okay.
I got
And,
some.
and I'm letting you know, too, you can take your time.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, go for it.
All right. It's a little hard to talk about, but I'm gonna definitely try to give it to you straight, unbiased. Kind of started about 3 weeks ago. We live together.
Okay.
We just recently moved in, probably a month ago.
Okay.
So about probably 2 week mark. Just little things. We communicate pretty well,
Okay.
stuff like that. Great woman, but I just started to notice things.
Mm-hmm.
Things she would like hold out information, little white lies, nothing crazy, just little white lies I noticed. I bring it up, but kind of jokingly. Maybe that was my fault for being a little, soft on that. But little
Mm-hmm.
white lies like, oh, I did this, but she really didn't do it. So and then kind of cascaded. She left her phone unlocked, and I saw a message pop up, and
All right.
then I started questioning everything. That's when it really started. And when I asked her about it, she just got super defensive. So that made me feel, insecure. Like, am I tweaking, or what is going on? What's really going on? Like I said, the little bickerments, little white lies turned into something more, and that's when I started feeling like the snowball effect started to happen. Started to get bigger and bigger. There's something I didn't even recognize anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of just brought me to this point now. From a couple weeks ago to now, it's just like, who is this person? I thought I knew somebody so well, but it's kind of like flipped on its head. So now it's like, what is real and what's fake? What's reality?
Right.
I'm
Okay.
just kind of thinking, not with this relationship only, but me going through this right now. Like I said, I know I shouldn't think like this, but I can't help but think like, what about my closest friends? Like, what are they talking about me behind my back?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about my grandmother? What she think about me? Like, does she know something I don't know that's important?
Mm-hmm.
What about everything? I just question everything, and I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's just this. Maybe she was just so close to me,
Right.
and I feel like my trust is under attack. I don't know what to think right now. But the situation kind of turned into us being distant right as of right now, not really talking, not really communicating. So that just kind of puts more doubt and more space between us.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of leaving me at like a point of in my own shell, in my own like little cave,
Okay.
And at this point, it's just I'm trying to get back, but I just don't know how to fix the situation. What do you do when that trust is gone?
Right.
How do you build off a foundation that's cracked?
Okay.
And it turns into something that, do you seal the foundation? Do you act like it didn't happen?
Right.
Or do you leave that house? That's where I'm really standing.
Okay.
I want this type of relationship to work, but I feel the problem with it is that I'm taking this relationship and I'm questioning everything else about myself and with other people, just because it's one of those relationships that's so close to you, so meaningful.
Okay.
You know, if I have one meaningful relationship, what makes it different than another one? You know, if somebody could stab me in my back, what's going to stop someone else?
Right. And then can I interject for a
Yeah,
while?
go ahead.
Well, what I'm saying is you said, now how long have you and your girlfriend been together?
We've been together about 6 months.
Okay. And then you said you guys moved in.
Yep.
Okay.
A month ago.
So, you know, we obviously know during relationship time, 6 months is a long time, but technically speaking, it's not that long, right? And so, but through over time, and we can never put a timeline on trust or love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let me not say that. But what I guess what I'm trying to say is you've built up so much trust for her over the 6 months that, you know, you guys never really had a problem where that trust was threatened.
Yeah, I see.
And another thing is, I would like to ask, did you like address the situation with her, or is this just how you're feeling talking to me, or did you actually, you know, work through those problems, or like, you know, come to her saying, hey, these are my concerns?
Yeah, you know, I probably didn't do it in the most beneficial way, but I definitely tried to bring it up to her, and I asked her specifically, what's going on with this, you know, and it's hard to bring something up like that because, you know, I come with my insecurities. I come with my own thoughts, my own prejudice, and I try to, in a very, you know, supportive communication way, address it. But at some point, you get emotions get involved,
right?
And I really was trying to see what was going on, and I can't explain why she got defensive if it was me that made it, but I did feel that her defense did come up on this topic, on the topic of the, you know, the message and who was it, and we just kind of never talked about it again.
Now, you said that obviously emotions were high.
Yeah.
You guys got into it, and you guys haven't been talking about it again. So basically, the house has been pretty much cold.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
There's not a lot of warmth in the house right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, you still do have love for her, and you still do want to be with her because, you know, you obviously are still within the house. I mean, obviously there are living arrangements. You know, you can't just move in with this person. But I do feel that you still want to be with this woman. Do you?
Yes.
And so my thing would be, do you think that while seeing that message, because did you actually see what the message was, or did you just see like an unfamiliar name pop up?
Definitely, I saw that unfamiliar name, and that's when that insecurity.
Your mind,
right? Yeah, for sure. Just started going.
And then at that moment, did you ask, "Hey, what is this?" or did you just kind of let it sit?
I let it sit a little bit.
Right, and see, I think that's kind of where our problem is a little bit like, you know, where it's starting. I think that's where the foundation of the problem started.
Yeah.
You know, because knowing that you can trust her and you feel like you can confide in her with a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
I think now what we have to know as, you know, humans is, and people just in general, that sometimes when we go along with things and we're with people, we never have those difficult conversations or things never come up. We don't know how to kind of react in those situations, you know. She's always been the person that you've depended on, and you've held her on a pedestal to where you feel like she can do no wrong. And I felt like once you seen something that was unfamiliar, that you didn't notice, that you weren't used to, you kind of panicked.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can make our mind go, you know, it can make our mind go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of like, you know, I think instead of letting it sit so much, you know, obviously we do want to put things in perspective, you know, but we can't let it sit for days.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where you have that animosity, your emotions start to build, you know, that's where we have those things where you're kind of not working through your problems, you're just maintaining your problems, you know, and you're trying to do that daily maintenance, but, you know, how can you do that if you're not getting the right things off your chest and off your head? So what I would say is, I think instead of, you know, kind of like attacking the situation, why not, you know, say, hey, you know, how are you doing? Or, you know, I seen this on your phone, you know, I'm not trying to accuse you of anything, but, you know, just see what that looks like, you know, because I think attacking the person right away, you know, it can lead to some people being defensive, you know, you know, because my thing is this, what if you put yourself in her shoes and she saw something on your phone? You know, how would you respond? Would you be defensive, or do you think that you would have that?
Yeah,
you know?
I could see why I'd be defensive, because in my head I'd be like, why don't you trust me enough to not think like that.
Right.
And I think that's probably where the defense came from. Now that you put it like that, I didn't even think about it like that. You know, it's a great perspective. You know, where did that defense come from? And it's probably that, you know, a person that she's supposed to have trust with attacks her like that and not ask her. So I think, honestly, that's probably a great point of view. And I probably would get defensive if I did what she did, you know, just kind of like, you know, what's this? What is this? You know, who is this? You know, that doesn't create the perfect conversation to start off with. And talking about something like heavy like that can only make it get worse.
And I think, honestly, where that comes from is having more practice at difficult conversations.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that what we can do in order to get us back on the right track of having those conversations is we can kind of look at things, right? Let's put it in perspective. So going into these conversations, what I want you to start trying to do is think about, you know, what do you want out of the conversation? Most of all, you know, you understand that obviously you guys have created a bond strong enough for you guys to move in, correct?
Yeah.
So we want to go into those conversations with, especially with family members and our significant others, thinking, okay, what do I want to ask?
Yeah.
You know, what do I want to know? You know, what am I getting out of this conversation? What do I want out of the conversation? You know, and what is the outcome?
Okay.
You know, because once we have those things and we practice what we want to say, or, you know, we run through our heads like, okay, you know, here's what I want to say, here's how I want to address it, and here's the outcome that I want to have, I think that makes a huge difference. Okay. You know what I mean? Because it gives us some type of setup, not really even setup, I'm sorry for using that word. It gives us a foundational piece to talk to the person and say, hey, this is what's going on in my head. You know, this is what I want to address to you, and this is what I want our outcome to be. Gotcha. You know, I want us to come to an agreement, or I want us to have a real adult conversation. Because I noticed that you said as soon as you know, fell off with her, you start to think of all the other relationships.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's big because in our mind, the brain is powerful. Even though it's a beautiful thing, it's a powerful thing. And our emotions and our imagination can run wild.
That's true.
And I don't think that it's healthy for, you know, just because you're dealing with this problem right here, I don't think it's healthy to connect or correlate those things with other people and other relationships.
Yeah.
Although we can't know, you know, and we don't know what other people are saying behind our backs, I don't think you have to stress yourself with thinking about that.
Yeah.
And you being a very upfront guy, I think that people respect you enough, you know, to come to you and actually think what they're saying. So I don't think that by this setback between you and your girlfriend should make you, you know, let that trickle down to everybody. Because in our last meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said you and your grandmother had a great relationship.
Yeah.
You even said that, you know, she was a provider for you, and, you know, she was probably the closest person in your family that you are close with.
Yeah.
And, you know, with that being said, I don't think she will ever hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, she's been helping you this long. I don't think, you know, especially somebody that loves you for you, and she has no type of, you know, ulterior motive. She's been there your whole life. You know, I think that she would not, you know, break her trust or hinder her trust with you. I don't think that's something that she would do. Now, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we never want to assume, but I would just want to say, like, I don't think you should put all of your attention to everybody saying, just because this problem happened, everybody gets this treatment now.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I don't want to just talk.
I think that's a great point you make with that, because for a long time my grandmother has been that source of strength and support, financially, mentally, emotionally for me. You know, through ups and downs with my immediate family, she did step in with a role of support, like I said. So I don't, like you said, I don't think it's right definitely to make it emotional. It's hard. I definitely could talk about it now. Now speaking, it's easier said than done. You know?
Right.
Because, you know, in the moment, if I get off the phone call with her and, you know, we talking about something heavy, it's like, you know, what was she really thinking? Because people are always not going to tell you what they really think about you or how they feel, because they want to be nice. Everyone puts a persona up. Okay. Everyone has that, you know, super ego about them. And it's hard for you to just not think about that thing. I think it's kind of, you know, it might be a kind of, I don't know, a different mindset not to think about that and try to be optimistic all the time. But I think just to have that, you know, that awareness that, you know, what's up front isn't the real thing all the time. Makes you take a step back and evaluate what your relationship is really like. it might be me thinking after this relationship with my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because like you said, you make a great point. My grandmother is that support, so why question it now?
Mm-hmm.
But why not? It's the same,
Mm-hmm.
just to counteract that
Mm-hmm.
is the why not, because I thought the same thing with Taylor, and,
Mm-hmm.
and look at it, just see it. But I think the relationship might be a little bit different just because, it is my grandmother. It isn't that love, not that love, relationship love, but
Right.
it is that, I have love for you type of love.
Right.
Which makes it like, I wouldn't want to do anything to harm you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're talking about relationship with a significant other, you get into the, the shaky waters with, do you still love me? And
Right,
stuff like that.
right. Where it's more so unconditional love and genuine love that comes from your grandmother from the start.
Because she was there, at the birth. Even my mom, my father, my mother's sister, and my grandmother was there for both my brother and me. So she's been there since day one, which is just a key factor that she established that relationship before I was born. Even when she had problems with my mother, she didn't carry that over to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for people just to, if you have problems with one person, not to mess with another person because they're association.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandmother definitely looked past that, and since, like I said, since day one, been there. And I think you bring up a great point, just not to try to hold her accountable for somebody else's actions.
Right.
But I don't think it's healthy just not to try to think about. I say not think about, but not address it that could be a possibility.
Right.
Because like you said, you can't assume. You can only look at the facts, and the facts you said is right, are factual.
Mm-hmm.
She has been there. She has that unconditional love, and she has that support. So why try to get shaky with her now? I think that's a great point you said.
And I'm glad that we got to work through that problem.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that you should revisit that conversation with Taylor when you're ready.
Yeah.
Don't force it. I think you guys should definitely have another sit down, though, and just have a conversation just to see where you guys are at. And like I said, make sure we go through those things of, hey, how do I want to address this? When do I want to address it? And what do I want the outcome to be?
Yeah.
And as far as your friends in that inner circle that I know you said, I want to touch on that as well. The problem with friends is we just think automatically that, whatever is going on, my friend has my back.
Yeah.
And that's not a wrong thought to think. But we also have to understand that our friends are human too.
Yeah.
And we also have to understand that even though our friends, even our best friends are there for us, they have their own problems too.
That's true.
So, and I don't think your friends have ever just flat out accused you of just being fake. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're
right? So I think that we should honor them with the same respect and not think like, okay, they're doing me wrong or they're doing me petty. I also think that, and you can, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that you guys, if you are good friends like you say you are, you guys should be able to sit down and talk. And I think that you should, be able to tell them like, hey, buddy, like, this is what I was feeling. I was kind of feeling kind of insecure. Be honest. I think a lot of times as males, we don't have that, we don't think that it's a great or the most sexiest idea to tell about or talk about our feelings.
Yeah.
But I think that if they're truly your friends, we have to get past that stigma. We have to make it a common norm for us to express ourselves.
Yeah.
To be like, pretty much open. We don't have to be open with everybody, but as men, I think we walk around with this machismo attitude, and that's not always okay.
Yeah.
Know that you are human, and know that you do have feelings, and that it is okay to talk about them. So with that being said, I think you do need to talk to your friends, because I feel as if you've been having this type of funk and been in this attitude, it's no doubt that you've been treating them a certain way, correct?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're probably wondering why, what's going on. So instead of just leaving them in the dark like we normally do to a lot of people, sometimes I think we just do need to take that leap of faith and trust that they'll be okay, and trust that they can, listen with a mature ear to know that you were going through something and that you're sorry, and that, the treatment that you've been giving them is not going to always be there, and let them know that, hey, I'm sorry, and I will do better. I was just going through a little phase, a little time. So
yeah, that's true.
I think that overall, right now, we're in a better state than when you walked in.
Yeah.
I think we have a plan now, and I think that's great. And I would just like to say I appreciate you for coming into this space, being vulnerable as always.
Mm-hmm.
And is there anything else I can do for you?
No, I thank you for giving great advice and giving great pointers on the situation, not being biased and not trying to just take my side, but giving it to me straight. And I can't ask for nothing but the truth, and I applaud you and appreciate you for that.
No problem at all, man. And I can't wait to have another session with you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.